Can I be myself?
Yes, you could be yourself. Welcome
Making sure.
to episode 3 of Sweet Light Sports with Aubrey Greer. I am with the one and only Alex Holt, dear friend of mine, colleague, confidant, someone I consistently communicate with. I think you've had an extraordinary journey, fellow HBCU graduate
What?
from the great Howard University.
Say it one more time with conviction.
HU?
You already know.
What's up, Alex? Again, thank you
What's
so
up,
much for being
Aubrey?
to be on my podcast. Excited to connect with you. Just wanted to wish you Happy New Year. It's been a while since we had a chance to connect one on
Yeah,
one,
I know.
and
It's the new year. Look at
we
that.
had unforgettable road trip we took to Atlanta many moons ago.
Woo, what a time. That was
Alex,
that's almost 10 years ago.
yeah,
I moved to Tampa in
Alex
2014. It's 2013.
yeah, Alex came to my wedding. We used to work together.
I did.
So yeah, really good to catch up with you. Tell us, what are you currently doing with the Harlem Globetrotters and how's everything going with that team and league?
So I'm in marketing and I'm kind of like a jack of all trades. And I feel like marketing is such a broad term, but
Mhm.
I've done everything from creative producing shoots, player photo shoots, social media. I've managed campaigns, project management. So I do a little bit of everything. And it's been going well. It's, another step in this journey of life. I enjoy it and we'll see what the new year brings. But yeah, I'm on the consumer marketing team and I've done a lot in my past year and a half. So it's been a joy.
Nice.
A
Nice.
joy.
That's exciting to hear. And tell us how did this come about? I know that when people think of the Harlem Globetrotters, they think of New York, but you're based out in Atlanta, your hometown, correct?
I
And
work remotely, yes, in the
nice.
A.
Okay.
hmm
Awesome. Awesome. And prior to the Harlem Globetrotters, you were with Mercedes Benz.
I was with the Falcons, yes, working out of Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Okay. Nice. Nice. And talk to us about that transition from the Falcons. I believe that's your hometown favorite team, correct?
You know that. I don't know why you asking. I was trying to be all professional and try to act like so. What? Cut. Hold on. Keep this in here.
This
When
is,
Aubrey knew who he was asking to be on this show, you can cut all this cute little stuff. We
oh
gotta
my
talk like
goodness.
we family. So let's. I'm not doing this with you. We
Okay.
family. You know my favorite team. You know how we used to go at it. Okay, let's. You know what it is. You know I rep the A. You know what I do. So
So
let's.
talk to us
Yes. Let's
Talk
go.
to us about working for your hometown team, being
Yeah.
from Atlanta, former season ticket holder, you, your dad, your sister, your mom, catching games. What was that experience like? And was that like a dream come true for you leaving Howard, or walk us through that process?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think when you have a career in sports, I think everybody has a favorite. Like there's no way you could be a sports fan and not have somebody that you root for, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up going to Falcons games, so it was nothing for me to be there on Sunday. It was a part of it was natural. It was a journey. Like I got my break into sports in 2013, 2 years out of school, where I was working as a seasonal for the Falcons in sales and ticketing. And
Hmm.
then, of course, I had my stint with the Bucks. Uh, that's where I met your lovely self, brethren. And then, I found my way back to the A, found my way back home. And I
Hmm.
mean, it was great. And I think working for your home team, there's going to be some passion that you're really going to put into the work. And I think anytime that you're able to sell a product or work for the product you just have a little different passion and respect for it than some others might have. So I mean, it was a time. A time
Nice.
was had.
Nice, nice. Talk to us about some of the experiences you've had, whether it's with the Falcons or the Bucks, that helped you in your role now with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, it's lots of those. Where do we start? there's the stories to tell. So when my memoir comes out years ago, you'll get the real, you'll get some real tea. But for the sake of this conversation, I mean, I think when you work for two big brands like that, and the time and the years and what the NFL was going through, you got a chance to really experience a lot of highs and a lot of lows. I mean, I've been, working in client relations and ticketing and sales. So I've gotten a chance to talk to so many different people of all kinds. And I think that is a skill that not everybody has. It can't be taught. You either got it or you don't. Like there's not many you can't teach people how to talk to people. You can't teach that. It's just in you or it's not. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I think I've been able to sustain in this industry for so long is that I literally I don't meet a stranger, and I have the ability to find a connection to you, no matter if you are a 70-year-old white man from Mississippi. I promise you, I can find a way to connect you. And I think that's the beauty of working in sports and entertainment. There's at least one thing we have in common. We are here to support this team. So I think that the ability to be able to find a connection with people has allowed me to sustain for sure.
Perfect, perfect. And that's the beauty of, like you said, working in sales and marketing. You can't be afraid. You got to jump right in, got to have an outgoing personality. And that's something that
That you do.
we both have.
It ain't easy, but
And talk to us about how Howard prepared you for a 10-year career in sports. And, what does that mean to you being a Black woman to be able to have such longevity?
uh I mean, Howard produces some of the most amazing people on this planet. Let's be clear. So HBCUs produce, and I know the world is just catching on to this, but we've been knew that,
Yes.
like we knew what we were capable of stepping outside of the yard or the walls of your campus. I mean, I think Howard in any HBCU, I mean, college in general, but I think Howard prepared me for what to expect when I got into the world, because college is the real world. No matter what nobody says, college is the real world, and you got a chance to be mentored, and you got a chance to understand what it's like to be Black in America. There's a misconception, I think, that HBCUs don't prepare you for what it is, for what America is, and that's 100% the opposite. You know exactly what you're getting into. You like you know exactly how you're supposed to be Black in America. So I think Howard definitely prepared me, because it allowed me to not only networking for sure. It allowed me to not be afraid to go up and just start a conversation with someone, because in order, like Howard doesn't just hand things out to you. You gotta fight almost to just get certain things done. And it taught me how to collaborate. It taught me to build friendships and appreciate every experience, because you just never know when that opportunity is not going to present itself again. So there's hundreds of ways that Howard prepared me. And I mean, I guess 10 years later, here we are.
Still here. That's dope.
10 years later in sports, I guess.
And that's dope. And I'm extremely proud of you, and you've done a tremendous job. And, as I was saying, like the longevity piece and, going to Howard, like how did you know this would be a career path or a lifestyle that you wanted to embark on?
I didn't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I went to school to be a sports journalist, and I
Same.
wanted to be Pam Oliver or Susan Colbert. I wanted to see. It wasn't that many Black women on TV now, like there is now. Shout out to the women that are still thriving. Hello, that we've seen in the past decade. But I mean, that was my career goal. And then I realized going into school, I was like, I don't necessarily want to be a sports pro anymore. How can I work for a team, or how can I be a part of the business? So if you would have asked me 10 years ago, or what year did I graduate? 2011. So whatever that math is, I'm sports, not a math genius, but whatever that math is, you'd have asked me in 2011, would I still be in sports? I probably wouldn't have been able to give you that answer, because I didn't know I don't think I knew what the opportunities were. And so I guess to answer that question, no, I didn't know that this was going to be where I was going to be right now.
And I think that's exciting. You know, a lot of
Hmm.
people think they have this path or this idea of like how life is supposed to be. And
Hmm.
the great thing about discovering who you are or what you want to do, it's going to be a lot of twists and turns.
100%.
And, you know, being that you are the person that you are, being a Black woman in a male dominated industry, like how does that make you feel when you see all the advancement in the technology, the TikToks, the social media, the LinkedIn, and you started a brand with Sisters in Sports? Like, talk
Yeah.
to people about how that has helped you network and navigate and have a voice in this space.
Oh yeah, I mean, citizen sports, and like, shout out to my partner in crime from episode 2, Tiffany Hubert. Okay, so we it definitely built the relationships and friendships that I have with women today. I mean, I think our brand was so special, is so special because it allowed us to connect with women on the business, kind of what you're doing. I mean, I don't think
Mhm.
we hear enough stories of what women are doing that are non-athletes, because there's a lot of women in the business and we just did not know that. So it was really cool to be able to connect with people just through a social media platform. It's a girl that I follow today, and she's with the Panthers, and she's what do you call it? I guess a reporter for
Mhm.
the team, so to speak. So she speaks on TV in the local area in Charlotte, and she just happened to be following us and came, and we were all in the city for the Super Bowl in Tampa 2 years ago, and we
Mhm.
still connect today. So it's a beautiful thing when you're able to find people that look like you and are, for lack of a word, thirsting for that connection, because that's where I think we thrive and are still thriving, because there aren't that many of us, and we have to find a way to stay connected because our experiences are similar. And it's definitely helped keep me grounded, knowing that I have other people that can share my experiences.
And that's dope because that's part of the reason why I wanted to start this podcast. I felt like a lot of the shows you see or hear on the radio, they talk to the athlete, the coach, the agent.
Hmm.
Very rarely do you get a chance to talk to someone on the business side that
Right.
had longevity, that had HBCU experience. And, you know, we don't typically look like the person that you would think of from the front office of a
Yep.
big time sports franchise. So
Hmm.
I'm blessed to know you and talk
I'm
to us
blessed to know you, Aubrey. I'm blessed to know you.
Talk to us about like your future goals or your outlook for 2023. You know, big year, lots of changes, you know, a lot of things happening in Atlanta, and you
Yeah.
know, the projects you're currently working on, if you could share with us with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, it's a loaded multiple questions. So some of my goals 2023, if I'm being honest, I have more personal goals more than professional goals. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. Hopefully, still alive and living a life of leisure and happiness and joy.
Yes.
Joy, joy. That's my goal, to stay joyful despite of whatever that of is to stay joyful. That's my main goal of 2023. Um, there are, I've 2022 took me through a ringer.
Mhm.
It was a lot work related. I still enjoy what I do, but I've had some battles, and I am learning that the career woman that I thought I was going to be, while that's still important, that's not my identity.
Mhm.
And I'm choosing to take more time to make sure my personal self is great, living healthy, um, keeping up with my workout routines, which I was always into that. And really, I'm that typical person that let it go in pandemic and was just out here. So I'm getting back to that. I'm traveling more this year because I've always liked to travel. So my goal is to make sure I have right now I have 2 good vacations on the books, and I have about 4 weddings to attend. So
Wow.
it's love season in the building. Okay. So I'm gonna be I'm going to 4 weddings this year.
Oh, you're
So
catching a lot of bouquets.
see, maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the season for catching bouquets, and who knows?
Okay.
Maybe my story will look different in 2024. We'll see. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure that my joy is intact, because at the end of the day, the one thing 2022 taught me is that I know who I am,
Mhm.
and I was reminded, to not forget that.
Okay.
because I've had some struggles internally, and a lot of it's been work related. And where me being myself has not translated to what people are supposed to think that I'm supposed to be doing at work. I'm and I'm not subscribing to what how you think I'm supposed to be. I'm gonna be me, and I'm just at a place in my life where I'm me, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm happy and my joy is intact. So that's my goal
Okay.
to do that. I think you asked me about some projects that I'm working on.
Yeah, any big time products you're working on? I know that you do a lot of marketing for the Globetrotters. Anything on the professional side or anything on the personal side?
Uh, so it's interesting that you ask. I don't necessarily have anything like a product or anything I'm working on and stuff for myself,
Hmm.
but I'm just making sure that my time is intentional doing things that I enjoy. Like
Okay.
I've been saying this for years, but like I love to cook, and a Christmas gift I got a while back, my sister gave me a recipe book where I should be writing down, creations that I come up with. And I'm at this year, one of my goals is to make sure I'm actually
Okay.
writing them down. And I want that to be something that I publish in the future. So, just that's one thing. But as far as Globetrotters, I mean, we have a lot of stuff that we're in a rebuilding stage. I mean, obviously everybody understands the impact that that brand is had for years. I mean, it's 97 years old, so there's a lot of history there. But I think there is a gap in generations that have had the opportunity to really experience and know who they are. I mean, I'm a product of that. I had never experienced the Globetrotters until I worked for them. I
Yeah.
was not aware of what it was really about, if I'm being honest. So I think there is a goal to still rebuild the brand. I mean, it's approaching 100 years very soon. And I think they're trying to get back to what the legacy was and still is, but there's a generation that it doesn't know all of that. So I think that's the goal, to be a part
Nice.
of that strategy to get to that 100.
Nice, nice. You mentioned, being able to balance your personal life with your work life. And like
Mhm.
for those that aren't familiar with the grind of working in professional sports, like talk to the people how that is super important to be able to have guidelines and boundaries to be Alex the person versus Alex the employee.
I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, I think we are spoiled on the end. I mean, football folks are spoiled because you got 10 games, right?
Mhm.
We are a spoiled bunch. But I think about all the work, and I mean, can I say hell, some of the hells we went through in the off season. I
Mhm.
mean, if anybody knows we were in the NFL, honey, okay, where the president, who shall not be named, was was being a tyrant. And it brought some struggles to the NFL, and we were in the trenches of that, right? So
Mhm.
it was then where I felt like Alex, the person, was not even valued in the company. So if there were times where I felt like I had to choose my race over my job, and that's what I'm what I'm not going to do is choose
Mhm.
my job over who I am as a Black person. And I felt like those hard days we experienced in the NFL, I mean, I don't know what we talked about it in previously, but I was very open in the company.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, this is the high ass mess, for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
It was a lot. So I think you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're working long hours. So our colleagues in basketball and baseball, I mean, they're working twice as many games as us. But so you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. One of my biggest hobbies that I took on during my sports career was boxing. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember I used to go after work, let a lot out on that bag. I mean, you have to put yourself in positions like once you clock out, once you leave that door, you're doing something, going to home to family or visiting friends, a happy hour, whatever your vice is, take appreciate those, find a
Mhm.
new hobby. But you can't, it's no way that you can survive. I mean, and not even just sports. I think that's in any company. I mean,
Mhm.
you got to figure out what you enjoy outside of that, because you see so many memes on Twitter and all this on Instagram now. Like, if you die tomorrow, your job posting is going to be like that. But as crazy as that sounds, but it's facts.
Yeah.
It's facts. Like there's so much more than where we spend 8, 9 hours a day. And you just got to remember that there's more to life outside of that. How can you be your best self at work if you're not your best self at home? It's just not feasible.
And that's a very good point. The pandemic definitely shifted our industry. We
Mm-hmm.
were super in the office, client facing, long hours. You mentioned how the off season can get hectic. Talk
Mm-hmm.
to us about your role now. Do you have some remote capabilities, or what is your work life balance
I'm
now?
remote every day, and I
Oh
don't know
man.
how I never did this for life. Never going back. No, I mean, yeah, I work for like this this is my office. You see
Okay.
Beyonce there. We got this is this is what they see when my camera is on. All of
Okay.
this back here, right? I mean, yeah. So working remote has definitely helped balance me. It
Mhm.
is almost to the point, I don't know who will be able to relate to this. It's almost to the point where in office, I'm like, I feel like the world is like closing in on me. And I'm actually an extroverted person, but
Mhm.
you just realize how long of the day you spent in an office and how much you really didn't get done. I mean, I remember, and I'm looking back on it, there were days where I'll just be scrolling on my computer when it's a slow day and it's like I'm just sitting here, literally sitting here, not doing anything. I ain't gonna say I ain't doing work, but let's be clear. The amount of socializing you do, walking around, all of that takes time from your day. You really only working probably 4 or 5 hours, 4 hours a day, if we're really being
Mhm.
honest. And I think working remote has just allowed me to balance, take breaks, and truly I'm able to get other stuff done that I need
Okay.
to, which is important.
Nice, nice. And when
Never
the
go
when the Globetrotters are traveling, do you travel with the team, with the marketing team, or how do you keep up to date with the advertising or the social posts? Like, what is it that you do exactly when it comes to they're having a game in Atlanta or in another city?
Well, it depends. So last year I did a lot more traveling. So the tour is usually goes from December. The domestic tour is usually from December to May, for the
Okay.
most part, December to April. And so, we're about a month in tour now. But last year, I think I went to about 8 or 9 games, and a few of them were just to spectate and just to watch. The
Hmm.
others, I had a shoot I may have had to do, social media content to help out the social team. There were community events that I ran during our campaign last year. So one of the most famous, arguably most famous Globetrotters, Curly Neal,
Yep.
who passed away in 2020,
Hmm.
he wore 22. He played for 22 seasons. They celebrated him in 2022. So I
Hmm.
was the project manager or the leader of that marketing strategy campaign. So the community events we hosted at his HBCU alma mater, Johnson C. Smith University. His hometown is in Greensboro, so we had a special dedication for the game for their family. Where so there, yes, I don't travel with the team on tour, but there are times where we're gonna go out to games to for whatever reason.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
mhm.
And you and your career, like you said, you've established yourself, you have 10 years in this industry. What do you think is next for you, or who's currently doing something that you think is interesting that you admire, or maybe a mentor that you can see, like, okay, I can see myself gravitating towards this, or
Mhm.
that's, either in sports or sports adjacent?
That's a good question. Um, hmm. Aubrey, that's a hard question
Okay.
because I don't know.
All
I
right.
have a lot of friends I admire. You're one of them, Aubrey Greer. I admire you. No, I'm
Little
just
old me.
yeah, like I have a friend of mine. Her name is Carrie. Shout out to Carrie. She's actually a part of Essence now, but I
Nice.
think she's amazing because she is does activations. She's like the VP of activations for Essence now. She's also a pilot. She flies planes,
Mm,
private planes. She also has her own business, gelato business.
mm,
And I look at her because I think when you growing up, and I think my future children will know this, is that it's almost as if you're supposed to be in one lane of doing something.
mhm.
And I admire her because she's literally a woman of so many talents
Yeah.
and she's doing them all. And I think that is so cool. So I also don't subscribe to the method that you have to make every passion of yours a business. I am not of that because some things you just literally have to be for you, right?
Okay.
So for me, I want to make sure that I thought about taking my cooking hobby and doing, private dinners for friends. So in years, my goal is to have multiple sources of income,
Mhm.
aka, my future husband's income as well. Like I want to have leisure. I want to enjoy work,
Mhm.
so there was once in my life where I thought I was, climbing the corporate ladder. I mean, I'm very much okay with, I like what I do. I like the work. I just want to make sure y'all paying me good. That's number one. If I'm going to talk about work, pay, the salary is discussion now. And I think the world is changing where, yes, we don't have to subscribe to, oh, well, we don't talk about no, 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 no. Yes, we do. Because let's be clear, if we all had the money in the world, who would be working?
Mhm.
That's the foundation. We all are here because we have to be.
Okay.
So, I mean, 5 years from now, I hope that I'm in a space where I am being paid very well in my career, and being paid where I am able to give back. That's one of my goals. I want to be able to bless others. I want to be able to have the income where I can bless others
Mhm.
in the process of me going to work every day. So that's one of my goals. I want to be well respected in my career. I want to be able to continue to mentor, to connect with other women. I want to be able to still tell stories of HBCU grads like myself, like what you're doing. So this answer probably would have been different 5 years ago, but now I want that in my career. I want to make sure that I'm able to do those things as Alex, the worker of whatever I'm working on 5 years from now. Those things need to be happening, and
Okay.
I need a job that's going to allow me to do that.
Okay. And having 10 years of professional sports experience, I know you're a huge sports fan yourself. You mentioned that your family has season tickets for the Falcons.
Mhm.
What are some of your most memorable moments, whether working a game or attending a game as a fan?
Ooh, working. Ooh, a lot of those, man. A lot of good memories. I think the cool thing about working in Mercedes-Benz Stadium is that we got to see events outside of just sports games.
Mhm.
I mean, I got a chance to work the Super Bowl. I mean, we weren't in it, but working the Super Bowl was pretty cool.
Nice.
That was probably a memorable moment. I mean, we had some good times at the Bucks games. There's the memory of never winning a home game. Like that's a memory. That's a memory. I mean, a bad one, but like working at your home stadium and you never got a win. I remember our first win at the Bucks Stadium, and I was like, "This is what it feels like to go
Yes.
home with some happiness." All right, great. Uh, so I mean, there's a lot. Like I also got to see United win a championship in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the soccer team, their first year. That was pretty cool. So
Mhm.
I think one of my favorite Falcon games ever was when we played the Seahawks. It was a playoff game, and I got to experience that as a fan. That was literally right before I got hired with the team. So, and that was the year that we went to the NFC Championship. But that Seahawks game, that was the loudest I think I've heard that place in a very long time. That was a good
Yes.
time. So I mean, I have hella memories to be honest with you. So
That's good. That's good. And I really admire your approach and how you go about your day to day. We worked together for several years, and I remember I think it was like either your first day or your first week. We met in the cafeteria, and
mhm,
we connected over music and Janelle Monae.
we did. Mhm, we
And
sure did.
it's fun to be able to connect with people that experience similar lifestyles that you did, having the experience of
Mhm,
HBCUs. And I feel like this industry, like you said, they are catching on to the talents that come from HBCUs. And
mhm.
you being an advocate and an ambassador, like how do you reach out to people who are new in the industry from HBCUs, or why do you think that is important?
It's important because you have to, I mean, representation, right? That's the buzzword, representation. Everybody talks about diversity, equity, inclusion, blah, blah, blah. But I think we have a duty and a responsibility as Black people to make sure that people younger than us understand what it truly is. That doesn't mean I'm going to treat you different. You're not going to show favoritism, but no, I'm going to let you know what to expect. And I want you to expect the best out of yourself. Before I left the Falcons, I was in charge of hiring the new seasonal group, and it was two Black girls that I'm still in touch with now, and they're going in their season 2. And I remember getting there, and I told them, I said, I'm probably weren't gonna, at that point I knew I was leaving about 2 weeks before, but I said, listen, I want you all to understand what you're getting to, so I want you to stay in touch with me. And we still have a good relationship now, but it's very important because you have to, we only get we only get the opportunities. Like, it's not that many of us. I mean, Aubrey, before I got there and Tiffany got there, I mean, how many was it Black folks that was at the Bucks? Like, let's be clear, it ain't that many people. So it's almost like, oh yeah, I see you. And you would hope that all of us have that experience. And yeah, all Black people don't. Let's be clear. You know, there are some that are going to do their own thing, but it's my responsibility to make sure that I'm doing my best to make sure that they know they have somebody they can that's looking out for them. Because who else is going to do that? White people do all the time. Why can't, let's be clear, nepotism, come on now. Like, people do that all the time in other races. Why is it frowned upon that we can't do that? But that's done all the time. Your granddaddy was the business owner and you are still running the business. Is that not the same? Just because you got a 400-year head start. No. Let's be clear. It's our duty. Everybody else does it. Why can't we?
And it's super important to have that community. It builds lifelong relationships, and it creates an opportunity where you want to work with people you connect with or people that you're familiar with. And again, like, I had Tiffany on the show, and speaking to you, like, we've all been able to work in this space for 10 plus years, and it's been great to watch both of you grow. And it's been a blessing to know you and to have shared these experiences with you. And one final question before we wrap up, like, you mentioned that you have so many hobbies and cooking and you want to do different things with your life, as you embark into this new year, like, is there any books that you want to say that, has helped you develop this mindset, or is there a book that you like?
Yeah, well, it's so funny. I literally challenged myself to read 22 books in 2022, and I did. I'm on my second book of this year, so I actually just finished Michelle Obama's The Light We Carry.
Nice.
And that was a great book, and I liked it better than Becoming. I'm not going to sugarcoat. Becoming was a harder read for me, but I think this one, Mrs. Obama, was much more personal. And I think it just, that's a bad woman. That's a bad woman. Our first lady is bad. And I think in this book, it was great to start that off in the new year. And I think she talks a lot about just taking care of yourself. And that's, I think, what I would encourage anybody to do. I mean, self-care is real. I know that's the buzzword, but self-care doesn't necessarily mean just, getting your hair done and your nails done. While that's important, but self-care could just mean resting, taking a break, visiting friends, calling somebody you haven't talked to, whatever fuels your energy, wherever your energy comes from, wherever you feel that you are going to get the most out of to make you feel good, do that. And that's where how I'm living my life, and will continue this year.
And, I hope and wish you all the best. I think
You too, Aubrey.
Thank you. You've done a tremendous job. And, again, Thank you for blessing us being on the show, Sweet Life Sports.
Thank you for having me. I'm here all day. Whenever you need me. Whenever you need me to be. Shout out to Sweet Life Sports. Give a clap to Aubrey Greer, ladies and gentlemen. This
Oh,
brother been talking about this since I met him, and look at him finally bringing this to life. So I'm proud of you, my brother.
thank you,
I'm proud
thank you,
of
thank you.
you for showing up for yourself.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. You know, you have these ideas, and it's really important that we start to execute and act on these ideas. And this is something that was a goal of mine going into 2023. And so far, the response has been good. The views are going strong, and I'm just stepping out of my comfort zone and just connecting with people that I feel that have interesting background stories. And, you
Good
know,
stuff.
hopefully this helps inspires the next generation of diverse hires in professional
Yeah.
sports who may not know that there's a space out there or a generation of people that can connect and understand what they're going through. So
Let's get
I
it.
appreciate it.
Me too. Thank you. I hope. Can't wait to see it thrive. Like, subscribe. Let's get it. Can't wait for the next episodes. May I be the easiest episode that you ever have in your life.
I appreciate that, Alex. God bless you. Good night. Thank you for everything. And it was a fun ride having you on the show.
Always, Aubrey. Take care.
You too. Take care. Peace.